Hey guys, Erie is here and welcome along to another video. Now you join me in pre-race practice for this one because I've got a little public service announcement to make. This is going to potentially be my last video for the next week or so, as imminently, or if you're watching this a little later, maybe even by the time you have clicked on this video, myself and my wife would have welcomed our second baby boy into the world. Now, I'm not going to reveal the name, I'll reveal it in the next video, but I want to have a bit of fun with it, so comment down below with your guesses on what the name is. I'll give you a clue, he may just share his name with a famous racing driver. But before that next vid where I reveal it, I'll be coming back with a stream at some point during the week when I get a moment, so make sure if you don't want to miss that, to click that subscribe button and make sure the notification bell is clicked as well. And while you're there, if having a baby isn't worth a celebratory like, I don't know what is. But with that public service announcement out of the way now, let's have a look and see how I got on in this one. So you join me here for qualification in this one. It's a 5-minute session as we're used to in the FIA Manufacturers Series events, but actually we have a fighting chance of getting 2 runs in this time. So this session is going to look like this: an out lap, a quick lap, then we're going to quickly come in and then repeat. And because time is going to be tight, we turn on the traction control and put our foot down to try and get around as quickly as possible. As expected, a queue forms at the end of the lap. This normally happens because nobody wants to be first in the queue. But as we're short of time, as I just mentioned, and we need to get a move on, I just put my foot down. And catching the pair up in front, it could work out quite well. But I do make a slight error on this first attempt. I get on the power a little bit too early and I have to get off the gas again. Otherwise the torque steer will send me straight into the gravel. But I finished the lap nicely and sat behind the TT, gladfully accepting the slipstream all the way down the straight to finish the lap. And I come across the line with a 1 minute 25.386, which was good enough for second at this point in time. But as soon as I logged that lap, it was time to immediately quit out and get back to the line before time expires if I'm going to have any shot at improving. Now we have to be careful as we come out here. We need to avoid those on their flying laps. We don't want to ruin theirs or compromise theirs in any way. And by definition, we've come out in a bit of traffic, which could be a problem. But luckily for us, the Merc is going to get out of the way. Then following suit, the Lexus does as well. And then finally, but this one's a little bit more against his will, the Dodge gets out the way as well. And as we cross the line here, we're going to have less than a second to go. Literally 0 seconds showing on the countdown timer, giving us one last go as we'd hoped. Now we were 7 thousandths down at the end of Sector 1, 22 thousandths down after Sector 2, and ended up being unable to improve as we didn't have the slipstream like we did from the TT down the straight on the first run. And when it was all said and done, we would be starting in P6 for this one. It sounds bad, but this lobby was crazy close. I was only 1.5 tenths off of pole and was all the way down, as I mentioned, in P6. And if we widen our view here, 1st to 13th were actually separated by less than 8 tenths of a second. Right, so here we are then, waiting for the timer to expire to get this one underway. And it actually started us in first gear, which wasn't ideal and didn't give us the best run off of the line. So I think about going defensive here, down into turn number 1. I just want to see what the car behind in the radar is doing. But there was no challenge from behind, so I was able to just take the line as normal. But coming down into the first corner, the BMW that we're right behind now understeered. He obviously took too much speed in there, couldn't get it stopped and turn at the same time, so just went straight on. Now I'm conscious the first 4 cars, as you can see, are getting away. So I really want to try and make a move on the fellow Brit ASAP so I can get onto the back of them. So even though I'm too far away from the Beamer to make a move, I pull out to try and get in his mirror, so to speak, distract him, and luckily it was enough for him to make an error into turn number 8. He arrived sideways again at too much speed carried in by him. He got up onto the curb, which then flicked him into the gravel, and as a result we're up into P5 and the coast is clear to go get after the 3 up in front. Here on lap number 2, coming through turn number 2, the group of 3 is soon going to become a group of 2, as the Audi also gets up onto the curb there and just goes round, giving us 4th place. Now, really happy with that, as we've made a couple of positions in the early going here just by remaining consistent. And we're continuing to close up on the battle in front, which consists of a McLaren, not a Merc as I called it earlier, and a Megane. And said McLaren gets up onto the gravel coming out of that tricky right-hander, which means he's going to get compromised all the way down the hill and loses the position, but only temporarily here, as he lobs it up the inside here into this right-hander. But because he went so deep, he's going to compromise both of their exits here, and now we are on them. I think about a move up the inside, but then again, pull out, think better of it, and live to fight another day. We're clearly quicker. I'm going to bide my time here. I don't want to get a penalty or an accident, or probably worse, compromise somebody else's race. So I'm just going to sit tight here and wait till the opportunity arises to make my move. And as we're on the run down here to start lap number 3, the McLaren is pinned to the inside. We're going to get a run on the pair of them thanks to the straight line speed of this Scirocco. The inside clearly wasn't an option, so I went for the outside. I broke as late as I could without hitting the McLaren. I got it stopped, hang it round the outside and get the move done. So having started in 6th place, we're up into the podium positions now. That move though, I just want to stop and mention, took 2 there. So I want to give a shout out to GTR Taylor. I had to trust you not to run me off into the gravel, and you didn't. So great driving and great sportsmanship there from you, my friend. Too often, content creators, including myself, are quick to mention the bad stuff, so it's important for me that I take note of the good stuff as and when it happens, and that was some great driving. So back to the now, and now that the McLaren isn't being challenged, he is beginning to show his pace, and he's gapped us by half a second as we start lap number 4, and the leader, if we look further ahead, is 3.5 seconds up the road now. So if we've got any chance of catching him, we need to, you guessed it, make a move on this McLaren, just like we have done on the cars before. Now, I get a run on him here, a good run down the straight, but then he just comes right across our face. Now, I felt he made more than one move there, but let me know what you think of that defending. It's not going to be a problem for us though, because I know that this VW is mighty on the straight, and if I can be anywhere near him coming out of the final corner, we'll have a great chance of making a move into turn number 1. And that is exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to look for our braking marker on the right hand side there, roll it through this final corner, get on the power nice and early, and we are exactly where we want to be coming down the straight here. The McLaren, quite rightly, as everybody should, pins it to the inside here, but on this occasion it's not going to save him. And even though he has the inside and we are side by side as we come across the line to start lap 5 and into the braking zone, we, full of confidence, just brake later and actually get the move done before we got to the apex. Meaning we take the apex that we normally would and we're up into P2. Now, I am very happy with that. Up 4 places in only the first 5 laps. And I've just remembered that there was so much action that I haven't actually introduced the race in our strat in this one. Luckily, it's quite a simple one. We've got 12 laps as you can see here, only mediums are available and fuel isn't an issue. And because the mediums will last the entire race without getting too much wear on them, there is no need to pit at all, and it's going to be a straight out sprint for the rest of this one. And as we fast forward all the way to the final lap here, that was the way it was going to stay in this one. After an action-packed start to the race, things settled right down and I could just concentrate on bringing this one home. I managed to pull a gap to those behind, but I just couldn't catch the leader. And as I come home to take second place here, that is 6 podiums this week. 2 in last week's videos, a hat-trick on last Monday's stream, and now this. So things are looking really quite well right now. And that's just on Gran Turismo, because as mentioned, things are going well for me outside of Gran Turismo as well, or may have done already. depending on when you watch this video. So there's probably things that I should be doing right now, and I'm going to end the video here, guys. So if you haven't already liked and subscribed to the channel, make sure you address that issue immediately, and I will see you in the next one very, very soon. But until then, guys, cheers.